You're welcome back to today's broadcast. Let's look into what is happening in Finland concerning Mazi Simon Ekpa and the Finnish government. In fact, today court procedure is very, very powerful. Simon Ekpa has turned around the table against the prosecutors, against the people who is fighting against him. He has now turned the table around. In fact, don't skip any part of the video. Make sure you watch it to the end for you to understand and for you to see what is going on right now in Finland. Starting from the day one to now, we have been seeing how Simon Ekpa has been defeating the Nigerian government with evidence and with proof. And what make him to do what he do, what make him to agitate, and what make him to fight for his people freedom. But the government of the country, they're just there claiming that he's a terrorist. You cannot claim that somebody is a terrorist just because of he said enough is enough. Then the next thing you claim that he's a terrorist and sentence him to prison. Although saying it is what the argument is now based on. So a lot of things is happening. A lot of things is happening there, right there in the courts. But we believe that it's going to have victory over the government of Nigeria this time around. It will not be like the first one. They just turned everything around in the favor of the government, in the favor of Tinubu, because of, Nigeria is one kind of country that they can do anything to achieve anything they want to achieve as long as there is money involved. So they can buy anybody. They can buy any country to achieve their aim. The type of money they paid Alexander Stubb, it is not just a child money. It is a money that is enough, in fact, to buy a country. And all those money is what is coming from direct from the same people that is suffering poverty, suffering corruption, suffering from dehumanization, and suffering from many things. But the type of money they used to waste outside of the country because of they are chasing the activists, those that are speaking on behalf of the poor people in the country. In fact, it's very shocking. Just watch by yourself so that for you to understand everything that is going on in Finland. About to watch, like, subscribe, and share for everyone to see things going on.
Something very significant happened around Simon Ekpa's court case in Finland today, and from the reaction coming out of the courtroom, it is clear that emotions were running extremely high. Simon Ekpa's defense proceedings have continued in Finland, but this time, the attention was not only on the allegations against him. According to the people who spoke after the proceedings, Simon Ekpa used his opportunity in court to present a much broader story about the history of the Biafran people, the Nigerian Civil War, killings in the southeast, and the grievances that have continued to fuel the Biafran struggle. And this is where today's development becomes very interesting, because after the proceedings, supporters gathered outside the court and began speaking what they described as a major moment for the Biafran cause. Some of them were visibly emotional, some were celebrating, and some were openly challenging the Finnish judicial system to look beyond the allegations and examine the wider Nigerian context. Now, before we go into what they said, let me make something very clear. A courtroom proceeding is not the same thing as a final judgment. The fact that somebody makes an argument in court does not automatically mean that the court has accepted that argument. So in this video, I want us to separate the claims being made by Simon Ekpa's supporters from what has actually been established by the court. And I also want us to look at why today's proceedings have generated so much emotion among his supporters. From the accounts coming out after the proceedings, several witnesses and issues were discussed. One of the major issues raised by Simon Ekpa during his defense, according to the people who spoke after the hearing, was the history of violence and political conflict involving the Igbo and Biafran people. His supporters say that he did not simply focus on the immediate allegations against him. Instead, they say he attempted to place the entire issue within the historical context of Nigeria. And this was apparently one of the reasons why the people outside the court became emotional. One of the supporters described the moment by saying that for the first time, the court was hearing things that he believed Nigeria had tried to keep away from the international community. He talked about what he described as systematic killings and the history of the Biafran people. He then made a direct appeal to Finland. His message was basically this: Finland should listen carefully to the history being presented before making its final decision. Now, whether the Finnish court accepts that argument or not, it's another matter. But politically and emotionally, you can understand why the statement generated such a strong reaction among the people outside the courtroom. Because for many supporters of Biafra, this case is no longer simply about Simon Ekpa. They see it as an opportunity to put the Nigerian government's handling of the Biafran question before an international audience. But there was another interesting part of the discussion. According to one of the people speaking after the hearing, a journalist who had traveled to Nigeria and reported on the situation in the southeast was questioned about his experiences and sources of information. The supporter claimed that Simon Ekpa asked the journalist questions about how he obtained his Nigerian visa and about the information he relied upon when reporting on the southeast. There was also discussion about the issue of sit-at-home orders and whether the policy was responsible for discouraging investment in the region. And this is where Simon Ekpa's supporters believe he made an important point. They say he asked the witness to identify investments that Nigeria had made in the southeast before sit-at-home controversy became a major issue. According to the account given after the court, the witness was unable to provide the examples Simon Ekpa was asking for. Now, I want you to pay attention here. This does not automatically prove that every allegation made by either side is true. What it does show is the kind of argument Simon Ekpa's defense appears to be making. The argument is that the problems in the southeast cannot simply be reduced to one individual, one organization, or one sit-at-home order. His supporters believe the deeper political and historical grievances must also be examined. And this is an important part of understanding why this case has attracted so much attention. But according to the people who spoke after the proceeding, the biggest emotional moment came when Simon Ekpa reportedly went deep into the history of the Biafran people. They described him as going through decades of events involving Nigeria and the Igbo people. They said he talked about the period before independence, the pogroms, the Nigerian Civil War, the events that followed the war, and later incidents of violence. And according to one of the supporters, the atmosphere inside the courtroom became extremely emotional. He described Simon Ekpa as becoming emotional while recounting the history. This is where the story becomes bigger than Simon Ekpa himself. Because whether you support Biafra or oppose it, there is no denying that the Nigerian Civil War remains one of the most painful chapters in Nigeria's history. Thousands of people died, millions were affected, and decades later, arguments about the political consequences of that history are still very much alive. So when that history is brought into an international courtroom, it naturally becomes a highly emotional issue. Now, some people may ask, if Simon Ekpa is on trial over specific allegations, why bring the Nigerian Civil War into the case? That is a legitimate question, and the answer depends on how his defense is being presented. His supporters believe that the historical background is necessary because they see the allegations against him as connected to the broader political crisis in Nigeria. The prosecution, however, has its own case and its own interpretation of the event. And that is exactly why the court exists. The judges are not supposed to decide based on emotions from outside the courtroom. They are expected to examine the evidence, listen to both sides, and apply Finnish law. That distinction is extremely important. After the proceedings, one of the supporters made a very strong statement. He said that in his opinion, it was no longer Simon Ekpa who was being tested. He argued that the Finnish judiciary itself was now being tested. That is a very strong political statement, but again, it is the opinion of a supporter. The Finnish court has its own legal responsibility, and the eventual decision will have to be based on the law and evidence before it. Still, the statement tells you just how much pressure supporters believe is surrounding this case. They are not simply waiting for a legal decision. They want the courts to hear their version of the Nigerian story. They want Finland to understand their historical grievances, and they want the international community to pay attention. Another supporter directly addressed the Finnish people. His argument was that Simon Ekpa is a Finnish citizen and that Finland should therefore take his case seriously. He also questioned whether Finland can fully understand the Nigerian situation without hearing directly from Nigerian authorities. His message was simple. If the Nigerian government has a case against Simon Ekpa, then Nigeria should be prepared to explain its position. Again, that is the position of his supporters, but it raises an interesting question. Can a Finnish court properly examine allegations connected to events in Nigeria without considering the Nigerian context? That is one of the biggest issues being debated by Simon Ekpa's supporters. But the supporters did not stop at Finland. There were also a direct message to Igbo politicians back home. One of the speakers asked what kind of legacy politicians in the southeast are leaving behind. He accused some politicians of abandoning the interests of their people, and he warned that the Biafran issue is not going away simply because politicians refuse to talk about it. Now, this is where the political side of the story becomes very obvious. The Simon Ekpa case is taking place in Finland, but the issues being discussed are deeply connected to Nigeria. Security, political marginalization, the Biafran question, the Southeast, the Nigerian civil war, and the relationship between the Nigerian government and separatist movements. All of these issues are being dragged into the conversations. So what does today's development actually mean? In my own view, the most important thing is not whether supporters celebrated outside the courtroom. The most important thing is what happens next. Because supporters can make speeches, politicians can make statements, lawyers can make arguments, but at the end of the day, the court will have to examine the evidence and make its decision according to Finnish law. That is the reality. However, today's proceedings also show something else. The Biafran question has refused to disappear. For decades, governments have tried different approaches to dealing with separatist movements, but the grievances surrounding identity, security, political representation, and the history of the Southeast continue to generate debate. And when a case like Simon Ekpa's reaches a Finnish courtroom, those unresolved Nigerian issues suddenly receive international attention. That is why people are watching this case closely. And this is where I stand. Whatever anybody's political opinion may be, no government should be above the law, and no individual should be above the law either. If there are allegations against Simon Ekpa, those allegations should be tested properly in court. If there is evidence, let the evidence speak. If there are witnesses, let them testify. If the defense has arguments, let the defense present them. But at the same time, historical grievances should not simply be erased from the conversation, because if you want to understand why political movements emerge, you must also understand the circumstances that produced them. That is why today's proceedings are important beyond Simon Ekpa himself. For now, there is no final victory simply because supporters came out celebrating. There is no final defeat either. The legal process is still what matters. And as the proceedings continue, Nigerians and people around the world will be watching closely to see how the Finnish court handles the argument, the evidence, and the competing narratives surrounding this case. One thing, however, is already clear. The Simon Ekpa case has become much bigger than one courtroom in Finland. It has become another international platform where the history, grievances, and political future of the Southeast are being debated. And whether you support Biafra, oppose Biafra, support Simon Ekpa or disagree with him, one thing cannot be denied. The world is watching, and that is why we will continue to follow this case and bring you every major development as it happens. If you want us to continue giving you independent analysis of the Simon Ekpa case, the Biafran struggle and major developments coming out of Nigeria, make sure you subscribe to Prime Focus News, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next update. Like this video, share it with others, and most importantly, tell me what you think in the comment section. Do you think the historical Nigerian contest should play an important role in Simon Ekpa's case, or should the Finnish court focus strictly on the specific allegations before it? Let me know your opinion.
All right, I want to appreciate every one of us that will be sitting at home today, Biafrans in the whole Southeast that will be sitting at home. It's not easy, actually. It's not really easy for you guys to sit at home every Monday. We know that. But you are fighting for your freedom, and that alone you are doing is self-referendum on its own. So I want to appreciate every one of you for sitting at home on this very day. And more also, I want to use this very wonderful opportunity to appreciate our leader, Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu Odogwu Akataka. And I want to also appreciate our Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa Njoku. And more also, I would like to bring us to the notice of Deputy Prime Minister, the woman that stood her ground and ended Nigeria in the midst of every chaos and arrest in Finland. She stood her ground and redeclared the nation called Biafra today. And that is why we do what we do. That is why we do all that you see me. You see my vibration, you see all the way I shout. It is because of that document that we've got. That document, that legal document, that is why I do what I do. That is why you do what you do. That is why you are sitting at home. That you're sitting at home alone is self-referendum on itself. So the world recognizes it. Nobody can intimidate you. Nobody, they can come at night to whisk you away, remove you. Everything that they are doing in Biafran land, this contraction called Nigeria, we are taking note of it and we are sending it to the appropriate offices. And Nigeria knows that it is over for them. They do know. These people you see know that it is over for them. So thank you, Biafrans, for coming up. I appreciate every one of you. I appreciate all of you because the coast is getting clearer as I speak. Now, today is the 17th day when our leader, Prime Minister, will be defending all the allegations. He has started his defense actually, but today will be the, it is today that he will start officially defending everything, because I believe by now the whole glitches of the computer that went off on Thursday and Friday. I hope by now they would have restored it. So let's see how this is going to happen. But this is what Nigerian people said. Nigerian government said to Finland that they should give them more 6 months. And I'm going to work on that and then come back to that they should give them more 6 months in order for them to get their evidence. That's what the prosecutor was alleging. They should give more 6 months so that they can go and study their evidences and bring it back. Now, the judges said, no, that cannot happen. You have all the time to go through all these things, and now you are bringing this. No, it's not going to happen. And let everybody open their defense. So when the defense started, they started noticing that the accused person is in Finland, but the people who accused this man is not here. That is, the respondent is there, but the accused person is there, but the people who brought the case against Simon is not there. Even when Simon was on the first day, Simon started his defense. The complainant was not in court. So what is happening? What is going on? Now you see Nigeria has no case against anybody. The only reason why Nigeria do what they do is because of your mineral resources. They have no case against anybody. Because in this country, self-determination is not a crime. Self-defense is not a crime. So for that reason, they know that if they come here, they're going to be held until when this case finishes. You can't influence anybody here. And thank God that they are in higher courts today. one of the higher courts in Finland. So I really don't know. Biafrans, to be honest, this is so embarrassing. I don't know how Finland got themselves entangled with this whole mess. You know, Alexander Stubb of Finland, the president of Finland, is a very shameless man. Very, very shameless, I can tell you for free. This man is very shameless. I think he came from a very poor home. And when I was speaking was on Saturday, I was talking to somebody in Finland because I had a police friend in Finland. You know, when I was talking, the lady said, no, that I should not put the whole Finland, that is a person. Finland president is just a man that can be removed at any point in time. That is not Finland. That they elected him. And when they elected him, that's when he started this rubbish. That's when he did this nonsense. You know what I mean? Now, my point is, these people that accused Prime Minister, none of them is in court. And I believe none of them will come today. Bianca Olowo accused Prime Minister. Peter Mba accused Prime Minister. Soludo accused Prime Minister. Hope Uzodinma accused Prime Minister. Defense chief at the time, Christopher Musa, accused Prime Minister. All of you saw when he was going to different TV channels and giving, what is it called? They were interviewing him, and he was telling them that he's very confident that EPA will be coming back. Not knowing that they have planned with the Finland authority, with this Alexander Stubb, brought plane, helicopter with Bianca Olowo. It is Bianca that is planning all this evil as the foreign affairs minister, because she submitted a lot of documents against her own brother. Bianca, this Bianca you are looking at, Ojukwu, former Ojukwu's wife, our leader's wife. That is why she is the foreign affairs minister today. That is the reason why she became the foreign affairs minister. They brought plane to remove Simon, to extract Simon from Finland. Thank God for David Dr. Masanga. Thank God for him and the United States of Biafran Government. Thank God for that man. That's to tell you how corrupt Nigeria is. These people were shouting, oh, we've got evidence. We don't know that it was a decoy. Getting evidence to bring down Simon Ekpa was a decoy. They wanted to extract Simon because they have evidence. They have no evidence against him. They have nothing against Prime Minister. Absolutely nothing they don't have against him. Today, when they arrested Simon Ekpa that time, when they arrested the Prime Minister at the time, you can see all those media, and we continue to call their names because they are very stupid people. They are evil to the core. They are the one that kept Nigeria the way it is. You see all these TV stations, all of them are completely evil. They are the one that is causing chaos in Nigeria. They cause misunderstanding. They bring different. Come on, brother. These people have destroyed Nigeria. People like Arise Television have destroyed Nigeria with lies. TVC, that is owned by the drug lord Tinubu, they have destroyed Nigerians with lies. The foundation of Nigeria is burning because of this Arise Television. You will see Ruben Abati, a lawyer, the man that loves Nigeria so much, cannot come to Finland. When they arrested Simon, but if all of you saw what happened now, I'm not telling you something that didn't happen. Oh, we are so happy that he has been finally arrested. He cannot be in another sovereign nation and start fighting Nigeria. Let him come down here and fight Nigeria for her. Those were the exact words of Ruben Abati. The one that they called Ojidiko was saying, when they asked him in court, when case has not even started, when they took him to court, he said he's a content creator that is not associated with Biafran movement. They have not started case. When Ojidika said this thing, Prime Minister has not been brought to court. He was only arrested by the district police in Finland. He was only arrested, and they came out with all these their shenanigans, so that they will make him look bad, and they will make him look like a terrorist. Now, when the whole thing came up, that the EPA came to court the first time, that was when the judge and the prosecutor came and manipulated the court, the lower court of the district court, the lower court of Finland. They were able to manipulate them, corrupt those people, gave them money, calls came in. They brought people to tie Simon Ekpa. They brought IPOB people. Remember, 3 IPOB guys came to talk ill about their own brother because of the money that they were getting from Nigeria. Have you people forgotten? So that was the original time that the case started. So where did Ojide Kobe and the rest of these Arise people got that information of Prime Minister being a content creator? That is what I want to ask. They said when they took him to court. She said when they took him to court. And court has not already started. Court never started. Court did not start at the time. Where did Ojide Kobe get this information that Prime Minister said I'm a content creator? I'm not this, I'm not that. And they carried it like wildfire. But today they cannot report that same case. They cannot report that same case coming from the same Finland. They can't report it. They can't carry it. Why? Because this case is against them. This case has, put Biafran people internationally, because Prime Minister has actually dragged Nigeria now. Nigeria is nowhere to be found. Nigeria is nowhere to be found. Have you seen the country you are fighting for? One Nigeria, one Nigeria. One Nigeria continue to happen to you. This is what these people do. Every single time they come to Biafran land, they come and extract people. They take them to Abuja and kill them there. This is what Nigeria does to Biafrans. And that is why we said we can no longer be in that contraction. And Ojide Kobe and their Arise television cannot carry this. They can't. The reason why they cannot carry it is because you are Igbos. Let it be that is Yoruba, Hausa people that this kind of thing is going on with. They will come and start, fighting to get them out. But because she has consigned and they know what we are fighting for. Freedom is what we're fighting for. Maybe they are paying OGD and the rest of them 1 million every month, and they feel that the life is okay for them. And every other person can suffer. They don't care. So they come to lie to the public. They come to, because their platform is very big. TVC is almost everywhere. Their platform is very, so when they dish out that nonsense, people would feel that it's true. That's how they held Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for the past 10 years now, without any evidence, convicted him without any evidence. But look at Sunday Igboho. The same thing Mazi Simon Ekpa and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is fighting for was what the Sunday Igboho fought for. And today, Sunday Igboho is working freely. They have even given him another security outfit that is working with. They've given him another security outfit. But why is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu so different? Why is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu so different? Because you're an Igbo man. And the same Igbo is what they are using to fight Igbos. Igbo people should be ashamed of yourself. All of you should be ashamed of yourself. Those of you that are in Finland, I heard that this useless woman called Adande Bonandi again, that this governor of Anambra State is sponsoring her to be in Finland. To cause damage, to cause chaos. Most of them there, Anambra State governor is sponsoring them. That is why they can come and be fighting David Thomas. Do you know what they have promised David Thomas to leave this case? Do you know what they have promised him to drop this Simon Ekpa's case? If this man gets victory, he's coming to United Kingdom, and Nigeria knows it. He's coming to United Kingdom. So it's not after what he's going to get. It's after justice, equity, and fairness. And that is why he's asking Finland, how come did you people come about these 6 years? They said they got intel from Nigeria. They got information from Nigeria to jail Simon Ekpa. There was no ground investigation. That is what Alexander Stubb cost. That is what that criminal cost, Alexander Stubb and Sanna Selin of Finland. They are human beings like me. When he leaves power, he becomes a normal person. He's the president of Finland today. But tomorrow, when he leaves power, he becomes a nobody. Oh, that you people don't know. In this country, nobody knows you. In this country, the former Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, sat with my wife on the train, inside train. Boris Johnson. Nobody send her. Nobody send him, Papa. You must behave like every other person. We are more special than most of. Listen, in this country, all these lawmakers in this country drive bicycle. In Nigeria, they drive bulletproofs. Lawmakers in this country drive bicycle home. Some of them don't even have car. Some of them don't have houses of their own. They live in a rented apartment. Ask anybody that lives in the United Kingdom or in Europe. Ask them. Most of their lawmakers they rent their houses. Their houses are rented. They pay rent the way I pay rent. There is nothing special here. But in Nigeria, look at the way they have conditioned your mind to feel that presidents are gods over you. Look at the way Tinubu is destroying the whole country because he's a drug mafia. A known thief, a criminal in Chicago drug dealer. He's a mafian, so he's ruling with Gangster style. That's what Tinubu is ruling you with. It's not ruling you like a human being should. If not, why would they go and extract somebody that is lawfully in a country and bring him back to Nigeria and illegally tried him on no law, on no standing law, and jail him? And you want me, Rose, to come and be clapping? No, Nigeria is doing their best. This country will consume some of you don't know. Look at how they shouted on Simon Ekpa. Look at how they put murder case on an innocent man. A murder case. Your IG, Assistant Inspector General of Police, IG Moshood, put more. Some of you don't know the deep. Listen, some of you will say, oh, why are you talking about that now? Listen, I want you to understand something from here, yeah? I may not be a lover of very dark man, but let's come back to the reality on ground. Very dark man is not my problem. If the country was working, as this country is working, there will never be very dark man. If this country was working, there will never be Maazin Nnamdi Kanu. There will never be me. There will never be Simon Ekpa. Some of you will not even know what is internet. You might know what is internet. You just go to internet and see what is happening globally, right? But come back to reality. This guy investigated a case and find out that the second man in the police force, assistant commissioner of police, is involved in criminality, went and brought murder and pinned on somebody because of land dispute. Do you know how that, or do you know how crazy that is? He keeps telling you, you don't know how crazy that is until it gets to you. Do you know what is an innocent man? Maybe I did rough, I did do gra up and down. If you talk, I will do anyhow to you. And then somebody wants to take me out and brought murder case and put on my head. Bro, you are gone in Nigeria. That is what one person, one man, second in command.
Oh yes, that is it. You all have seen everything that is happening in the courts. In fact, it's a very, very powerful speech, starting from the beginning to the end, mostly from our brother Rose, that based in UK. What we are seeing and what is happening is that the truth will still remain the truth. What Simon Ekpa is doing is what is right, and everybody knows that, and he have the right to do it. And the Constitution guided him. Self-determination is a right of every individual, and is a right of everyone around the world. So it is not against the law. In the issue of self-defense, it is only a tree that you point knife or you point machete at, telling him that you will come and cut it, then it will be there. Not a human being, not anything that is living, that is alive. It is only a tree. So the issue of self-defense, or the issue of who and who that is causing, everybody knows the truth. Everybody knows those that is terrorizing the country, and everybody knows that is causing problem everywhere in Nigeria. But the government, they are not going after those people. It is the people that are defending themselves, that are trying to defend themselves against those terrorists. These terrorists that is coming and that already taking over everywhere in the land. I would like your comment and like, subscribe and share for everyone to see things going on in Biafra land. Thank you for watching.